This is illusionist Darren Brown, and he's about to flip a coin 10 times in a row, completely fairly, and have it come up heads every single time. There's no sleight of hand, there's no edits, and it's filmed under completely controlled conditions. So watch closely and try and work out how this is possible, because the way he does this explains one of the biggest differences between artists who make it and the ones who quit right before it starts to work.
10 heads in a row. Watch. One, that's heads. Two, that's heads. Three, heads. Ten heads in a row. Thank you very much indeed.
That looks like magic, right? But you just watched it happen. And it happened under completely controlled, fair conditions. So the only question that matters now is how. You see, 10 heads in a row feels impossible because we imagine it happening on first try. And on one try, it basically is. About a 1 in 1,000 shot. But flip that same coin thousands of times, recording every result, and somewhere along that endless line of heads and tails, a run of 10 heads stops being unlikely and becomes inevitable. You see, Darren didn't beat the odds. He outlasted them. It took him over 9 hours in that room, but the impossible became inevitable because he was willing to accept repeated failure as the price of getting the result. And this is why so many artists quit at the exact wrong moment. They think that a flop means a failed song. They think that low streams means the idea was wrong. They think that one release not quite catching right or not being able to build on social media means that they're not cut out for this. But often it just means that they haven't flipped enough coins for the work to start to compound. But this is where the coin analogy starts to break down, and it's often this part that artists miss. Because the coin has no memory. It never gets smarter, it never gets luckier. Flip 9 heads in a row, and the 10th is still going to be a 50-50 shot. But the thing is, you're not the coin. You learn. Every time you write a song, you release it and put it in front of people, you collect information. You learn what you actually sound like. You learn what people resonate to. You learn which ideas are strong enough to finish, which ones start to fall apart, and which ones maybe deserve just a bit more time. And then an idea becomes a song gets produced, it gets released, and it gets seen. And at every stage, the reps make you sharper. So your odds of breakthrough don't actually stay flat like a coin. They climb every time you repeat, which means that failure is only ever truly final for one person, the artist who stops. But building a career is obviously not just as simple as flipping a coin, because if you keep repeating the same weak process, you don't actually improve your odds ever. You just get better at being ignored. You see, I've spent the last 15 years producing and engineering and helping develop independent and major label artists, and the pattern is pretty clear. The artists who grow, whether they have a team or not, they're not just being more creative, they're actually learning from each release and understanding what each release is supposed to prove. And it comes down to really understanding the two types of value, subjective value and objective value. And most artists focus on the wrong one first. Let me explain. Imagine you make and sell surfboards. You're in the workshop and you put your heart and your soul into crafting the most beautiful handmade board, ideal for your style, your weight, your height, everything made perfectly for you. And when you ride it, it feels absolutely insane. That's subjective value. How you feel about the thing that you've made. Now, imagine you open your doors to sell, but your workshop is 300 miles from the coast. You've got a genuinely brilliant board, but nobody wants to buy it. Not because the work isn't incredible, but because nobody around you needs one. That's objective value, where the product meets the audience. Now, imagine the conditions were slightly different, and your shop was actually next to the ocean, and that oceanfront was hosting the next World Championship. And then a competitor walks in, exactly your build, and picks out the board that you've made for yourself, and then goes on to win the competition. Your pre-order list will be full for the rest of your life. And that's what every artist is actually aiming for. But here's where they all go wrong. They aim straight at that world champion. They try to build a board for everyone before they've built something which is truly undeniable that they believe in themselves. And you can't skip straight to that. The board has to feel real to you first. And in music, the board is your songs, your catalogue, the music that you stand behind. The ocean is the audience. And winning the championship is the moment when the song connects so undeniably that people start to come to you. So start in the workshop. Make something that you genuinely believe in first, because if the emotion isn't honest with you, it won't land with anyone else. Then find the room that's already looking for it and keep making songs until one of them connects, because every release is another flip of that coin. Each one is proof that you're doing the work, proof that you're becoming clearer, proof that you're good enough for the investment of someone's time and eventually their money. You see, fans invest in attention first. Labels, sponsors, collaborators, producers, managers, they invest when they can see that the proof is starting to stack up. If you've got nothing released or you're not showing yourself, then there's nothing to invest in. Your ideas become real the moment that you start putting things out there. And until then, they just stay as a dream that you tell yourself. But here's the trap that takes most artists out before any of this has had a time to compound. They don't just get tired, they get tired because they're judging every week by the goals that they can't necessarily control yet. And that's because there are 3 different types of goals, but only 2 of them are worth your energy. Input goals, output goals, and outcome goals. Input goals are completely within your control. How often you sit down, how many writing blocks you protect, how many times you flip that coin. Then there are output goals, what those inputs actually produce. You can't force the coin to land heads up, but the more times you flip, the more heads you'll get. Music works in the same way. You can't force a great song every time you sit down, but the more times that you sit down, the more good ones will turn up. And the better that you make those working conditions, the more often they'll start to come up too. But then there are outcome goals, 10 heads in a row, or in music terms, streams, radio plays, going viral, getting signed, getting picked, getting chosen, whatever the way that you talk about it, those are outside of your control. Darren couldn't have told you that it would take him 9 hours, and I can't tell you how long your breakthrough is going to take. We've all got different paths, we've all got different ambitions, different ideas of what success even means. And where you're aiming will actually change as you start to grow. But the artist who gets stuck is always the same. It's the one who's counting heads instead of flipping the coin. They keep checking the result before they've done enough reps to make the result meaningful. So we set goals around what we can control, inputs and outputs, not because outcomes don't matter, of course they matter, but because outcomes are built on proof. And proof only stacks when you keep going. But theory that you can't apply is absolutely useless. So let me show you what this actually looks like when it doesn't just sound like motivational advice, when it's an actual plan built around someone's real life. So I'm working with an artist right now, and when we started, she had released 5 songs in about 4 years. Not because she didn't care, not because she wasn't talented, but because every release felt like she was starting from zero. Release a song, hear nothing, lose heart. Stop for a few months and then sort of start again. Sound familiar? So the first thing that we did was we got clear on what her direction was and what her driving force was. She set a clear deadline for us about 9 months out on her next birthday. And by then, she wants to be well on her way to building out a body of work that actually feels like her. Notice what's important about the goal. It's not, I want to go viral. It's not, I want to hit 1 million streams. It's not getting signed. There's nothing in that goal that's outside of her control. It's all completely realistic. So once we had that, we started to use input and output goals to plan the way there. First, the constraints. How much time do you actually have? And with creative works like songwriting, I think about it in blocks rather than hours. Counting hours can often kill the very thing that you're actually trying to do. So try and make a block as open-ended as you can, with a minimum of 90 minutes. Enough time to stop checking the clock and drop into an idea and actually sit down and make something. So for her, that was 2 blocks a week, one on Monday and one on Tuesday. And the golden rule is this: underestimate. Don't set the hours that you wish you do. Set the ones that you'll actually do. Because if a plan only works when you become a completely different person, it's not a plan. It's just another way to feel like you're failing. So that's the input goal set. Now the outputs. As we said before, the song and getting seen both matter. But in the early months, we weight the plan towards the writing because that's where the emotion comes out. And the emotion has to be clear before we start to build anything. That's you in the workshop. But then over time, it starts to drift towards content and the business side. That part gets easier once the song is real. At the beginning, we start the content bar super low because putting yourself out there is absolutely terrifying at first. But it only gets easier the more that you do. And then on the music side, the main focus is writing demos. A couple a month, building up slowly. And then we meet every week or two to work through what she's hitting. We have a listen and we pick the most exciting songs that we can move into production. And then we start to build them out together. There's nothing heroic about this. No dramatic reinvention. No pretending that she suddenly has a 40-hour work week for her music. It's just a plan that she can actually follow. But run that plan for 9 months up until her next birthday, and she's not just hoping for momentum. She has 30 plus demos, several songs already released, and nearly 200 pieces of content out. From someone who had put out 5 songs in 4 years, she didn't get 10 times more talented overnight. She shifted her focus to flipping the coin instead of counting how many heads had turned up in a row. And that's the whole thing. The breakthrough is never a miracle. It's never about being chosen. It's not about waiting for the perfect song, the perfect audience, the perfect opportunity, or even the perfect moment when you finally feel ready. It's about building repetition. Not blind repetition, but repetition that gives you proof. Repetitions that give you feedback. Repetitions that make the next song clearer, the next release stronger, and the next attempt easier to believe in. It makes the almost impossible feel inevitable. And so the only variable that's truly fatal is stopping. A coin that stops flipping can't land heads, and neither can you. So the real question is, what will keep you going when the next release is quiet? The planner that I've shown in this video is in the description. Or if you want help building it around your actual time, budget, and songs, and someone in the room with you taking your demos that excite you and turning them into finished records, there's a link in the description to work one-on-one. Either way, don't leave this as motivation. Pick the system you'll actually follow and keep flipping the coin. And if you want to see what it actually looks like when an artist starts to believe in themselves properly, watch this video next.